Hello, Purple Heart Consciousness holders. This is Reverend Jerry Hobby, and I'm welcoming Center for Spiritual Living Inland Empire. We're in partnership, and we are going through a 40-day process of celebrating the Abundance Book that was written by John Randolph Price. It's one of my favorite books, and I refer to it often, use it at least once a year. Most of the time, it's twice a year to just fortify what I know about prosperity. And I'm so happy to celebrate with you regarding this. So, over the course of these 40 days, we will be celebrating through prayer. We're going to celebrate the legacy that John Randolph Price has left with us. We're also going to be celebrating the gift of understanding the law. And it is based on the book, Working the Law by Raymond Hollywell. So let's just get started right now. And I want to start off first by reading the affirmation by John Randolph Price for the day. And he says, through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within as my source, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of spirit. This substance is my supply. Thus, my consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. In Working the Law, Raymond Hollywell says this. He refers to an incident regarding Florence Shinn, and he says, Florence Shinn gives a clear example of this in her book, and it is regarding the law. The book is The Game of Life. She tells of a man who was seeking a new position and having a limited amount of money, was debating in his mind whether to buy a new coat or to hold tight to the money in case he was long in getting employment. He was advised to buy the coat, and it was an expensive fur coat. Now, this was back in the 60s as he's telling this story. And he says, this reduced his bank account considerably, but it increased his confidence and stimulated his faith to such a degree his prospective employer caught the spirit of it and gave him a splendid job. We love hearing stories of success, don't we? And he goes on to say the coat served to enable him to feel prosperous, and the venture strengthened his courage and confidence. So the law proceeded to satisfy the demand. If such a condition arises wherein one feels better for seeing some evidence of prosperity, then it is wise to do that which makes it easier for the person to draw prosperity to them. Certainly, it is not helpful to work for prosperity and see a stack of bills before you or a condition of limitation and squalor around you. It is better to come away from such a sight and go where the view is more keeping with the desire of the mind. When I desire to work for prosperity for myself or others, I try to stay in an environment where there is plenty and beauty and where the people around me are not limited in straits. So, in other words, make sure you're aware and take time to focus on the environment you'd like to be in that reminds you that you are prosperous, that gives a picture of what prosperity can be and how it can unfold for you. I always love to create a sense of opulence. As a matter of fact, I've named different areas of my home different things. For example, I sit here in the living room and I call this the land of opulence. So choose those places you'd like to be in that support you in that. Now, this week, today in particular, I've chosen a special prayer, and this prayer was written by Reverend Les DeMarco. It is entitled Treatment to Increase Prosperity. And I chose this one in particular because it supports us and meets us right where we are, and it supports us in our growth and our consciousness of prosperity. So, this is given from a place of love and as a cheerful giver. And I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, and I want you to just picture opulence right now. Breathe it in, and I'm going to invite you to open your heart. And open your heart wider than you've ever opened it before as I share this prayer. And it starts off focusing on the purpose of the prayer and the recognition of God. He starts and he says, there's something going on in the consciousness of the world at large. Transformation is happening everywhere. Yet for some of us, there seems to be a shortage of financial resources or personal prosperity. To understand how to become prosperous only requires that we become actively involved in our day-to-day decisions and priorities. To increase prosperity, say, there is only one source in the universe, one infinite storehouse of good. Right where I am and everyone else is the infinite supply of divine love pouring itself forth into creation. God, the infinite source of all good, is the presence that gives to everyone and everything alike. I see myself in the midst of divine good. I see myself to be fully united with and one with this good. All that good is demonstrates right where I am because it is who and what I am. The very essence of my being is in Christ, the perfection that knows its oneness with God. I realize that nothing can separate me from the free-flowing good that is God within me. All that I think, all that I say, and all that I am points to the fullest experience of prosperity that I could know. I easily allow myself to believe in and to respond to divine goodness of God. I recognize that my joy comes through the joy that is God. I recognize that health comes from the wholeness of health that is God. I recognize that my prosperity comes through the abundance of God in all things. I claim that I easily and effortlessly create more good in my life just by realizing a greater knowing of God within. As I see the good around me, the good appears. As I feel the essence of God around me and in me, the essence touches all things I desire and gifts me with a greater sense of receptivity. As I acknowledge God as the power and the one presence, I rise up in my ability to see myself as more prosperous. I am not hindered by my past, and I am using my past to propel me into a future as I latch onto it now in this moment. Now in this moment. All that I am is a prosperous and joyous child of God. I give thanks for the truth that confronts this law, and I give thanks for the ability to increase my prosperity right now. I give thanks for those around me who support me in up-leveling my awareness, and I am overflowing in gratitude. And so I release this prayer, this treatment, into the law of mind, knowing that this mind has already said yes, and that all that I need to become is a demonstration of this prayer, and it is already contained within me. I release this now to show up as an increased prosperity expression in my life. And so it is. Amen. I want to go back, and I'd like for us to revisit that quote from John Randolph Price once more. And he says, through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within, as my source, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of spirit. The substance is my supply. Thus, my consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. Your supply, your good, whatever it is, shows up and it is already at hand. I have no idea what it looks like for you in this moment. It may be to make sure that you get all your bills paid on time. It may be making sure the mortgage or the rent is taken care of. Or it may be just to demonstrate more good in your life and more prosperity for the growth and the welfare of your family. What I do know is that the container is within you, that the presence and the opulence of spirit dwells within you. And when you focus on your good comes to you. So I'm inviting you to just be mindful this day and the rest of the week. I'm going to invite you to start taking time out and creating order in your life, bringing balance and harmony. Create a sacred space where you can call it your space of opulence. And I'm going to invite you to put something that is beautiful, that is inspiring, close by in that space. And that may be the space you choose to go and sit, to write and journal, to focus on your good. When you do this, you'll create more and more good in your life. That is how this space became the land of opulence for me. And this is how I began to magnify more and more God. It's a space I enjoy returning to again and again. And it is that space where I pray from. That place of abundance, knowing there's plenty, that there is prosperity unabounding. So I know this for you. And tomorrow, I invite you to join me again and our 40-day challenge, the 40 days for a prosperous life. Have a blessed day. Namaste.